Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this webinar tonight. Tonight, I have the beautiful, awesome, sparkly Carol Elizabeth with us.
Hello.
Hey. So she's joining us from Canada. We are here in the U.S., at least I am in North Carolina. So this is like a big deal. It's international. This is international right now. So real quick, just to let you guys know who are watching, joining us live right now, stay till the end because there is going to be a gift that I'll offer you guys. Anybody who registered for this, you'll get it via email. So just make sure you stay to the end to find out what that is. And the purpose of this video today is obviously supplements. We talked about that already, but I did this video series for the ladies who joined the Better Method, which is my 8-week online nutrition course that I have going on right now. But if you're interested, you want to know more, go to thebettermethod.com and you can actually get on the you can get on the wait list for the next session. So Carol, first off, thank you for joining us. I want you to do a little brief intro. I know you're a mom. I know you are like a fitness competitor and entrepreneur. So give us your little story about kind of your fitness journey and where you were and then where you are now. And then later on, we'll get into how supplements play a role.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, I'm 46 years old right now. I'll be 47 in March. And my journey started probably 10 years ago, really. 10 years ago when I had kind of gotten to the end of my rope. My youngest of my 3 kids was 3 years old, and I realized that all the extraness and squish and squash that was all over me, I couldn't be calling baby weight anymore. And obviously that's something that a lot of mothers and women share. And so what I really was in a kind of a dark place of not being happy, not having any real passion for anything outside of being a mother, which is awesome being a mother. It's an incredible thing, but there was lots of things lacking. And what it really came down to was a lot of things inside of me. So the journey started to change the outside physical appearance. I went through a clean eating process. I lost 40 pounds. I started working out. Actually, I started working out before I changed my diet. Didn't see the results I wanted from that alone. Added some clean eating into the mix. Lost some fat, put on some muscle, stepped on a bucket list fitness stage at the age of 39, and enjoyed that, and then went on to be, compete a lot and fall into kind of some dark holes of that, of aligning a body image to happiness and trophies to a happiness, and then evolving through personal development and learning things to still compete and love it, but I don't compete to compete. I do it as goals for myself and meeting people, and so I've my husband and I both compete internationally, and it's been quite a journey the last 10 years.
That's awesome. So I want to dig deep into 2 things you just said. Number one, your age. So let's talk about that because I have all these women who are coaching with me. I'm 31, and like women are like, oh, once you hit 30 or once you hit 40 or once you hit 50. So talk to me about that in being a mindset of, does it really matter how old you are?
No, I mean, if I believed that, I don't know where I'd be. So luckily I kind of hadn't, the truth of the matter is I never set out to, be in my favorite magazine, Oxygen. I never set out to stand on stages of Brazil at 46 and win over 20-year-olds. I never set out for any of that. I just set on a journey that started to make me feel better, and I kept going, and that evolved. And so it wasn't about a number on a scale or a size in my genes or any of that. I found a new happiness and energy through eating better and moving my body and doing those kind of things. And so, yes, I mean, as we get older, things are you have to tweak here and there, but I really feel, as you know, I'm a coach for women as well for the last 4 years, and like it or not, I believe a lot of that is excuses. Like that was me. It's like, well, I have 3 kids. I had 3 kids in 3 years. My stomach was out to here. It's acceptable that I have a muffin top, but it wasn't the kids in 3 years. It was the Eggo waffles and Doritos and bags of cookies every day with tea that was the issue. So yes, there's challenges, but I truth be told, there is no limit based on our age. Absolutely not.
I love that. And I like starting from there too, because we can all make excuses no matter how old we are and no matter what circumstances we have. So I like that. And just talking to anybody, no matter what age you are, who's watching this. So I want to start diving into, we want to talk about supplements because that's what we're learning about this week. So talk to me about, you said you started eating clean, and the ladies who are in the Better Method know what eating clean is, just eating unprocessed foods and eating pretty well. But when did you get to a point where you were like, okay, clean eating isn't enough for me? And then when did you start to step into, okay, I need to supplement with some other stuff?
Yeah. And so I changed my diet and went, really clean for 3 months. No alcohol, no extra anything, super clean, like uber clean. And lost weight, which was my goal. Got super fit, but I was still exhausted and my mood didn't change. But I was like, whatever, I've got abs. Who needs energy? Like, because that was my mindset, was all about the outside appearance. It doesn't, but I was feeling tired and none of that mattered. And my face looked really sunken in, and I probably looked 10 years older than I do now. And it was 10 years ago. And I looked, my hair was like thin and I was like, okay, wait a minute. Being fit does not equal being healthy. So having a low body fat or, seeing muscles show through is not healthy if it's not done in a healthy way. And so that's when I started to understand it. And part of it was as I was getting older and I have kids, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, how can I be in my optimal health? And who cares what the shell looks like? We need to have the insides working right to keep me going into the future. And so that's when I started to understand that food alone wasn't giving me everything I needed, and I needed to look to bring in other things to kind of help the optimal health of the whole package.
Mm-hmm. And if you were talking, like, let's say somebody right now is like, okay, yeah, I've been eating clean, I'm trying to eat better, and they're already doing that. What are like the basics in terms of supplements that they should be adding in? Because we could get really crazy and overwhelmed, but I'm just talking about like the basics. Take us from step one.
Yeah, and I'm a basic chick. If it's not basic, it never would work for me. So a lot of it is, a whey protein, a shake, especially if you're working out, because that's just easier for the body to absorb, within 30 minutes of resistance type training. And as we get older, I find a lot of women are like, I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to, the amount of work I've had to put in to build muscle, it has been insane for the last 10 years. And so the fear of getting bulky, the women that look like that are not doing supplements. They're doing things that are not for us that we can access. So as we get older, it's really important for us to grow our muscle and maintain our muscle. And so whey protein shakes are incredible for that. They're also just great for ease of use, let's face it. When we need to eat something, or we're traveling, or we're out and about. I think vitamins are essential as well, omegas and different things like that, because fish oils, because our body needs those to absorb all the nutrients as well. And we can't, you can get it in fish, you can get it in these things, but you're never going to consume as much as you need to get the recommended daily dosage. So those are a lot of my favorites. In terms of working out, there are some great supplements to help boost your workouts when choosing the right ones, to be able to push harder or extend longer your workouts or recover. So those are great depending on if a person's working out or not. But I am all about starting with one thing and looking at how you're eating now and where you're kind of missing pockets and seeing how you can fit that in rather than go to the store and come back with a huge crates and fill all of your cupboards with it, and then you've done it for 2 days, and then you have cupboards full of supplements forever that you don't use.
Yeah. So, and I was just gonna think, I used to work in the supplement industry, so I had a cupboard full of stuff because I'd get it for free, and I was like, yeah, and I literally just threw away probably 17 bottles of old stuff that I had because I never took it because I had all these bottles of stuff. I got overwhelmed. So I can see how it can get overwhelming, and you go into the store and you tell somebody you're looking for supplements, they're going to sell you. It's not going to sell you. right?
And the hard thing about that is too, every magazine, everything is an ad for a supplement. Every Instagram post is a person with a supplement, and they have the booty you want, or the abs you want, or the shoulders you want, and you think that that's going to do it. And, you know, unfortunately, there's a whole other world out there in terms of, you know, what's real and what's not. And most of the people smiling next to a supplement aren't taking that supplement. And yet we, you know, so we keep going, because we're looking for the quick, right? We all are. I get it. You know, it's no fun to look down a couple of month process, but we also are really all looking for lifestyle changes. So.
Yeah. So talk to me about, speaking of that, talk to me about quality, because I know some of the stuff, I came from a background of using fat burners. I mean, that's what we did. I'm sure you've come across that as well, of using fat burners that are high caffeine and all this synthetic stuff. So talk to me now, because I know some women probably watching this are like, yeah, I'm just going to go get a fat burner and that's going to help me burn fat, right? And we've all done it. So talk to me about why not to do that. They might be thinking that they want to do it. Talk to me about why not to do that.
Yeah, I think it's the journey that almost every woman goes on, because we all want that boost, that head start. As much as we hear and say, throw away the scale, it's not about the number. It's still just like such a crippling crutch to almost every woman. So they want something that they can see, so they can hop on the scale, so the scale will change a number, so that therefore they're doing the right thing. And so, you know, it's unfortunate, and it's where our world is in terms of quick and fast, and we are all looking for that. But my thing is okay, well, when you think about the health side of it, and obviously as you get older, you start thinking more about the health, and as you have children, you start thinking more about the health, because you're reflecting back on them, and so a lot of the things that are on the market, you know, can do a lot of damage. And, you know, a lot of people, the caffeines and the fat burners, then you suffer from adrenal fatigue, that it takes you 3-4 years. So the hard reality of it is these things that come into play that are quick and burn fat, you know, sitting on the couch, are going to do more damage, especially if you do it longer. You know, and then there's the cycle. You take the fat burners, you lose the weight, so then you start eating again, and then you get it back, and then your adrenals are shot, and your cortisol is up, and then it becomes a whole long progression. So as much as it might be harder to wrap your head around clean eating and high quality supplementation for health, that's the best way to do it, because you're going to get to a stage and your body will start working for you. When you use the other things, your body fights and works against you, really.
Mm-hmm. So I like that. I'm on this journey to make like balance and health sexy. And I don't know if it's as sexy as fat burners, right? Like fat burners are great. You see somebody with shredded abs, you're like, yeah, I want that. Give it to me. Instant, instant gratification. So
they have shredded abs for one day.
Yeah. Right.
Take a photo. That's the problem.
Yeah. And Photoshop. We know that. We've all seen Photoshop photos. I have photos that are Photoshopped that are of me. And I'm like, I look good. Like, I don't look like that normally, but that looks nice. I like that airbrush. It looks good. So yeah, it's great. But it's,
as you get older, that airbrushing is great. But yeah. I actually tell my photographers not to anymore, because I'm 46. I can't look 20. It's creepy.
Yeah, because then people see you, and this happens too in the industry. People see you in real life, and they're like, hey, like, who are you? Yeah, so you want your picture to look like your face. I definitely agree. But I have to say, you do look young, vibrant, and healthy. So I can tell that you're healthy. You're not depleted, right? We've seen a lot of people in the industry that are depleted and that have like the sunken in cheeks and the eyes. So talk to me about your routine. I know that you've come like a long way. You've used a lot of different stuff, but what's your routine? And give me the basics, because I know you use pre and post workout, and I want to get into that. But let's just talk about somebody who's looking for overall health and maybe a little bit of weight loss.
Yeah, I mean, I try to stick to foods first, organic, really clean, the basics. I mean, I'm a basics girl because I need it to be simple in life. I use whey protein meal replacement. One is a post-workout and one is a meal. I take all my vitamins, you know, a morning and a night routine of vitamins. That's really easy. That gives me, you know, a lot of the extras, especially as I'm getting older, for skin, for hair, for heart health, for all of that. That's really kind of where I stay in the like life genre of it. I take some great things for stress relief and recovery, post workout and just post, you know, daily activity. And then I stopped doing pre-workouts for a long time because of the jitters and the junk in it. So I've recently brought that back in, you know, as I found some that kind of really align with everything I feel from a nutritional and ingredient standpoint.
Yeah. So for those people out there, I have a lot of people I think that I work with who I think is great. They're like, you know what? I want to just eat whole foods all day, all long. Like, I'm just going to eat whole foods, whey protein. I don't need it, you know, and they're just really very much all about whole foods. Speak to those people right now and tell me your perspective on that.
Yeah, I was that 100%, 5-6 meals a day, all measured out, and never really equated the whey protein to a meal or to a protein source. It was in my brain. It was always just for workouts or that kind of thing. And then I started to realize, and you know, it's becoming more and more obvious, especially with the way the internet is and all the access we have. You know, all the pink slime and the McDonald's type stuff. And so I'd hear that and I'm like, well, I don't eat McDonald's. I'm okay. And, you know, you hear other things and I would just kind of like, la, 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 you know, because if you accept it, then you have to make a change to it. And, you know, I have a busy family and you watch the money you spend. So I'd go to Costco, get the giant family packs. And what I've really kind of come to realize in educating myself is that our food isn't what our food used to be when I grew up. And our soils are not what they used to be. So even though these clean meals are wonderful, you know, kales and spinaches and all these great things, they're grown in soils that are depleted, even if they're organic. So there's levels of pesticides, and then there's no nutrient value in that food anymore. And then you take your protein sources that, you know, are filled with hormones and antibiotics, and we see why so many children are growing up with issues, food intolerances, you know, autoimmune diseases. They're all based around toxicity of our world and what's in our food supply. And it's not enough to now just say, don't eat processed food, eat clean, because our clean food is just not giving us everything we need anymore. It's just not. So it's absolutely imperative to supplement, to get the nutrition, to get the things that your body's requiring. And a lot of it is we're all trace mineral deficient because there's no minerals in the soils, and we're all tired, but we're chalking this up to, well, we're getting old, so I'm tired, or I'm working too hard, so I'm tired, and this is life, so I'm tired. Well, no, we're not supposed to be tired. We're supposed to wake up, bound out of bed, you know, be annoying to your kids because you have more energy than them, and skip down the street. Like, that's how we're supposed to, that's how I want to live. Right? And so we need to add things to the mix. So clean eating and eating food, unfortunately, I mean, I'm on more conversations with women just like you are, who are doing all the right things and still have that last 10, 15 pounds. That's because of toxins in our body, that are still not feeling great, even though they're eating all the right things. And it's just this missing link for some. And I had it for years, that food isn't what it used to be.
Mm-hmm. And that's so crazy to me, because I feel like this is new. Like, at least for me, it's new information. Like, within the last 2 years, I've started to realize, like, even if I'm eating organic, right? Like, it doesn't matter if it's organic or not, the nutrition of the food is not the same as it used to be. I don't remember who, there's some doctor that said I think it's a cup of spinach, right? Now, like a cup of spinach now, we have to eat 52 cups to equal what it did back in our grandparents' day, just because it doesn't have the nutrients. And then funny, spinach, even organic spinach, is the most toxic because it sits down in the like gunk, even if it's organic. So,
yeah, and there's acceptable levels of pesticides in organic. And I mean, it's all based on where you're at in your journey. You know, like I didn't, like I said, listen to it for a while, but it's a missing link, I think, for people that are doing all the right things and still not getting there, is that alignment with that, okay, maybe I'm not getting everything from food anymore. And there's studies everywhere, right? I mean, it's not yeah. I mean, I pushed it under the rug forever because I didn't want to listen.
Well, yeah, because it's depressing, right? You're like, what do you mean my body's toxic? I'm doing everything I can to eat clean. Like, how can this not be working?
It's usually when we start to feel things, like I started feeling a lot of pain, a lot of inflammation, and I'm like, what? So unfortunately, it's usually when we have something that's like, jabbing you that hurt, like that you're like, wait a minute, maybe I should do something, because usually we don't make a change until we hit that pain point. So,
yep. Yeah. So it sounds like, I want to make sure I'm summarizing for people who are watching. So it sounds like you're doing meal replacement shakes, in with your real food meals, and then you're doing vitamins morning and night. Is there anything else you're doing in terms of, you mentioned toxicity. And so I know like the juice cleanses are popular, and people out there, I think, will go on these cayenne pepper things. And I know like cleansing from a medical standpoint, like most societies do cleanse, but there's healthy ways and there's unhealthy ways. Is that an efficient way to remove toxins? And are some better than others? Or like, where do we even go in that regard?
Yeah, I was never a fan of the cleanse word, especially as I became a coach for hundreds and thousands of women, because I know they were grabbing a cleanse before a vacation to drop 10 pounds on the scale. And doing, these long extended periods. And I had become a fan of concepts of intermittent fasting in the fitness community to spike growth hormone and recovery. Unfortunately, even intermittent fasting has an interesting, we're all trying to find how to eat Oreo cookies. Like, it's like the intermittent fasting to take a break from eating so we can cram pizza and cookies into our eating window, if it fits your macros, okay, awesome. I'll eat Pop-Tarts and pierogies, so it's like, okay, and we all have to do these things to understand what it's going to do for us. But I was always very wary of cleansing because I'd seen them done way too long and too harsh, knowing that any extended period without eating, your body's going to eat your muscle. And I worked way too hard to build muscle to ever want to lose any. So it was actually when I was researching alkalining a body, some friends had been dealing with some diseases that thrive in acidic bodies, and our bodies are acidic, that I found out about cellular cleansing and flooding, supporting my body with botanicals to allow my body to naturally cleanse. Most cleanses on the market are like laxative and diuretic cleanses that you take these things and then you spend time in the bathroom and you're like, yay, I'm cleansed. But it's really robbing you of amazing things in your body. Our bodies are naturally incredible vessels that cleanse themselves. When you take a break from eating, your body naturally cleanses itself. But you've got to do it the right way and be supported on that to really get into the cellular level, removing the heavy toxins that causes inflammation, that causes that extra visceral fat around our organs, and that causes a lot of the issues that we're dealing with daily now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm the same with cleansing. I saw my old roommate was trying to cleanse, and he was like on day 7 and he looked like he was dying. Like, I was like, are you okay? I don't ever want to do that. So I've never done like a juice cleanse or anything, but you introduced me to the intermittent fasting and this cellular cleansing. And I'm a person who loves food, like loves food. Like, I think about food, like I'm like, it's time to eat. It's 3 hours, time to eat again. And so I never thought that I could actually do a cleanse, right? But after you show me this cellular cleanse, it's totally different. And I'm actually crazy in a good way on my cleanse. I'm like, hey guys, what's up? And people are like, you're cleansing, aren't you? I'm like, yeah. What do you mean? Am I excited? And like, I'm just like, I have all this crazy energy. So definitely something different. And I love that. But
because one of the reasons for that is because our body, when we eat food, and we all, like, it was just Thanksgiving this weekend in Canada, right? So everyone's like, passed out at the table.
And ours is coming up. So this is good for us to plan for.
This is good.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you fill your body with food. You go into that shutdown, tired mode because your body has to digest. When you take a break from that, but you're still taking in carbs, fat, protein to support yourself along it, the energy that you get is actually unbelievable, because your body's energy is going into cleansing, but not into digesting. So you're really like zoning at a really amazing level.
Yeah, it's crazy. I wake up after day 2 and I have so much energy. I'm like, do I need to eat food? Like I literally question whether or not I have to eat food. And I'm like, I never thought I would be doing that ever. And so I love that. And I think it's phenomenal. And I think it's a really good reset to do it consistently, because I'll be honest, I do eat waffles daily. I just had some chips. I eat snacks. So I think we shouldn't deprive ourselves. Yeah, wine, right? We shouldn't deprive ourselves. But it's a good idea to keep the body alkaline. Now, I want to touch on something too that I don't know if people are correlating together, because I know I wasn't. Like 2 years ago, I had no clue about this. What is the link between toxicity and retaining body fat?
Yeah, I didn't understand that totally before either. But our bodies are these amazing little things, right? And what happens is when we're ingesting toxins all the time, right? The air we breathe, water. I like hairspray. I thank God for makeup. It's literally everywhere. And I live in Toronto, like big city, so it's everywhere. And so these toxins are coming into our body, and our body has to protect it. So it produces more fat to wrap around the toxin, and then it pushes the toxin away and hides it from our organs, because that's what our body does. It's an amazing miracle. So the more toxins that are in our body, the more fat our body produces to protect it. And so a lot of the reason for rebounds when we quote diet is we're taking our body and we're losing weight, so we're getting smaller, but all the toxins are still in there, but in a smaller body. So then the body goes, oh, we need to protect it, so it produces more fat. So the rebound that most people think about has a lot to do with the toxins in our body, not just changing our eating back, to what it used to be. It's the body going, oh, we need to produce more fat to protect it, and wraps around these toxins. So when we talk about cellular cleansing, that's releasing the fat or releasing the toxin. And because the toxin's encased in fat, the side effect is fat loss. So that's the real magic here, when you can have more fat loss, because weight loss can be muscle and can be water. People might want to lose 20 pounds, but if they lose 5 pounds of fat, that might be all they actually need. Yeah.
And I talk about that all the time. Like, it needs to be sustainable. I could tell you, I'm not going to, but I could tell you how to lose a bunch of weight in like 2 months, right? And you could do it, but then what happens after? It needs to be sustainable. So this sounds like it's something that's sustainable, that's able to allow you to be healthy, but also eat the foods that you want to eat on occasion, right? Like mix in stuff that may not be the highest quality foods.
Well, when you feel better, you stay on something.
Yeah.
So a diet, when you take everything out and you go all, and that's what we do, right? We're like, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to have I'm not going to have sugar. We take everything out, and maybe the most anyone makes it is 2 weeks, and then they jump on the scale and nothing changes, because the body is smart and it says, she's trying to starve me, so I'm holding on to everything. And so then we cut out more calories, and then we do more cardio, and then our number goes up, and we say, well, forget this. This is how I'm supposed to be. I'm a big boned girl. I've had my children, and we stop. And so if it's not something that makes you feel good, you will stop. And so, I hate the word diet. I'm all for eating for a purpose, right? And being mindful of what you put in your mouth, because I could take down pizzas day after day, and that's not going to be healthy for me, right? So, but I'm all about having bits of that. So when you can find something that makes you feel good, then you stay with it. And that is what gives results. Staying on something consistently that's working for you, that you feel good, when you then 6 months later, 12 months later, 10 years later, you sit there and go, whoa, how did that happen?
Yeah.
So
talk to me about, I'm going to ask you about 2 more questions, then we're going to shut it down, because I know I want to respect your time. And then I also know that we want to keep this kind of short, but I want to know sticking to something, right? So sticking to something, let's say you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go get some stuff and I'm going to start taking it. Like, how do you start doing something? Like, how do you create this? It's brand new to you. How do you take protein shakes? When do you take, how do you remember and start implementing this so that it becomes a habit for you?
Yeah, I mean, I like the fail forward method, you know? I mean, this day and age, when I started, Facebook was just new. So the community that can have here and that we can Zoom here and having people in your corner is super important, especially because it's quite often not your family and friends that are supporting you when you make changes. And so community support is, to me, number one. And you know, you and I both do programs, and it's the interaction with the women together that is a game changer. And really, it is just about creating new habits, right? There was a time where we didn't brush our teeth. You know, I used to have to tell my kids things over and over again, and now they do it. It's the same thing for us. You know, I actually talk to women a lot who have kids that are little or getting bigger, and they're like, oh, I don't ever feed my, you know, I never have the right food. And I say, but I guarantee you're not leaving the house without like 25 snacks for your children, because if your children don't have snacks, they're going to go crazy and you don't want a scene. So you prepare for them, but you just have to put yourself into that same mix. So it's really just the same thing. Having, you know, ultimately somebody to give you the guideline of where to take this and what works best. And then having some support, but knowing, okay, I understand it's not going to be a week till I'm where I want to be. I understand that I'm going to have flips and dips, and some days are going to be harder than others, and I'm going to want to stop. But I understand that if I keep going, I can get somewhere. So to me, it's being around people that have been there, that are around you, that are like clapping for you and encouraging you is the real key to it.
Yes, I totally agree. And for some reason, they think we're perfect. I literally didn't work out for like 3 weeks last month. Right? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I need to get back on track. Right. But what we do in the beginning usually is, I'm such a horrible person. I didn't work out. Oh, well, I'm just going to eat my feelings. So it's just coming off and being like, yeah, I had a week that wasn't that great, but getting back on it and then having somebody to hold you accountable, I think is definitely a great solution. I do that with my friends. I'm like, hey, I say this to them. I say, listen, every time you ask me to run, I'm going to say no because I don't want to run. And I said, I'm going to try to make any excuse, but I need you to make me run. And so now they know when I'm like, I need to wash my hair, I can't. They're like, come on, we're going to go running. So they've got me. They're holding me accountable.
Yeah.
So last question, let's say somebody's like, okay, I need help. I want to get started on some stuff. Where can they find this info? I know that you and I could send them some stuff, but where do you want to send them to get some info?
In terms of which in particular?
So if they're like, hey, I really just want to know about supplements. You want them to message you. You want them to go to a website. Where do you want to send them? Or do you have anything that you can give them that would give them a little bit more information? Because I have everybody's email list who's going to be watching this. But if they're watching the recording and they're like, hey, oh my gosh, I have questions.
Yeah, you can go to my website, which is just www.carolelizabeth.com, and you can message me from there and say that you saw this and you want some info or some help, whether it be accountability or for info on specific supplements. And I mean, I've been working out for over 20 years, and so I've tried a whole lot of stuff. So it's learning about that, but yeah, so right to my website.
Okay. And and you guys can find me on Facebook. Just go to Cami Kennedy, message me if you have any questions. I have Susan writing in. She actually says, can you talk about the workout supplements? She actually knows the stuff that we use. She wants to know about the Amped products. So can you give me, I know we have 3 or 4 pretty good Amped products. Can you talk about when somebody should start using those and how to use them?
You know, there's a ton of info about that, so we can certainly get more details.
We'll follow up with Susan individually about those products. But in general, let's say somebody has been working out, they're already using whey protein, they're already taking, you know, their multivitamins and their fish oils. I have a lot of people who are kind of like, should I take a pre-workout? Should I? So what type of person should be taking these workout supplements?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I mean, definitely if you're somebody that likes utilizing weight, so you're doing classes that have weight resistance, you know, the Orange Theory classes. You're going to the gym and lifting weights and any kind of resistance type. What different pre-workouts do is they a lot of them help with blood flow. A lot of them help with energy. It helps with the oxygen so that you can push harder. And then there's ones that you take during the workout that are electrolyte based, and then BCAAs, which are the aminos that are the building blocks for muscles, post workout. So it's sometimes I think people get feel that if they have all of these things that their body's going to change without that effort. So the effort has to be there for any concept of this. But as I said, I had stopped taking any pre-workouts or anything for years. And then when I found one that was clean and I started implementing it, I was like, whoa, okay, this is because the change happens when we push harder. And back to the whole, you're not going to get jacked Arnold Schwarzenegger. But as we get older, ladies, we need to be lifting weights because we don't want to be, I don't want to be the crumpled over, hunched grandma that my grandmother was. I don't want to be that. And that's when our muscles go. And so to be able to push harder with more energy, to be able to break the muscles so that it repairs is really important. So, anybody that has questions about that specifically, it helps to have somebody navigate based on your workout and things like that.
Yeah, I love that. So you can reach out. I'm going to email Susan, but you can reach out to either of us individually on Facebook. We'd be happy to send you the info on that because there's a bunch of great info out there. Okay, if anybody has any more questions, you guys can type them in. I think Susan was the only one that had a question. But yes, Carol, thank you so much for being on. You're phenomenal. I love you. And I get to see you soon. You're coming to the United States, so it's going to be great. We're going to be
coming to the States. Coming to America.
Yes, coming to America in the South, too. It'll be great. And then anybody who's on here, I'm going to send you, check your email. I'm going to put you on my list, and I'm going to send you guys a freebie of how to use some supplements. So you guys will get a freebie. I might just throw in a workout there, too, for you. A little workout you can do at home. So you guys will get that. Just make sure you check your email for that. I have Maggie, who has her hand up. Let me see what she has to do. I've never had. Maggie, what is your question? Do you want me to unmute you? Let me see if I can get her unmuted.
Well,
All right, Maggie, did you want to be unmuted?
sure.
Okay, what's your question, Maggie?
Okay, what's the difference between cutting back on your eating and your body's response being to hold on to fat and toxins as opposed to fasting?
Okay,
Great question.
We'll mute you back and we'll answer that. Okay, good.
That's a great question. So the key benefit or the key to that is how much time is in between. And so the cleansing Cami and I are talking about never goes more than 48 hours, and it's supported with protein and carbs and fat throughout it, with not food items that our body has to digest, but that are very instantly absorbed. For the most part, when people start cutting out their calories, it's for an extended period of time. And that's when the body says, okay, we're not getting enough. We need X amount of calories for our heart to beat, for our lungs to, our muscles to move and to walk. And so it holds on. So the difference is the time that it's happening. You could never cleanse. And that's why when we go with the juice cleanses and things, you're supported with the sugars from the juices that are really just giving that body that energy, but it's not giving it any quality calories and quality nutrients. All calories are not created equal. It's the other reason I'm not really a fan of counting calories, because I could fill up my daily calorie allotment with 100-calorie chips and 100-calorie Cokes and 100-calorie chocolate bars, and I would have no nutritional substance in my body. And so that's a great question, Maggie. If we cut back too much, which is kind of, I think, most women's natural impulse, cut, take out fat is bad, I'm going to add cardio, and our body just says no, and it just fights it. And that's the other thing, based on where we've been living at, it's like a thermostat. And so your body's going to fight. If I lived in my kind of former body for a good 10 years, And it took a lot to shift it, because the body's like, nope, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. And you have to kind of break through it. And then you have to maintain that. Most people break through it, get to their goal, and then go back. And of course they go back. So you kind of have to stay in that zone and eat the way you're eating. That's why I say eat for life, eat for a lifestyle, not a diet. And then your body will reset to a natural new body, and then at that point you can have the little extras here and there that don't affect you the same way. So throwing in the fasting helps to rev your metabolism, but never more than 48 hours, and make sure it's always supported along the journey of that.
And I think a lot of this is when it's a good time to get a coach too. So if you've been trying and you think your calories are low, that's a good time to hop on a call with a coach or just get some kind of consult to figure out where to take you from there. Because a lot of times if your calories are too low and you've been sticking, let's say you're sticking at 900 calories, you've been eating that way for years, your metabolism's damaged. So that's when you need to get somebody to help you, mostly to help you on the mental side, because it's going to take a while to get your metabolism back to where you can start now losing the weight. So Maggie, I hope that helped. If you have more questions on that, set up, find me or Carol, message us, and we'll set up a call with you and see how we can help you. Awesome. Okay. Carol, I love you. Thank you so much, dear. You are awesome. Thank you, everybody who was on, and you guys will get your freebies. All right. See ya.
Bye.